Hello, hello. As you know, I'm gonna ask. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I was gonna turn my camera on. Um, Let me see. Can you hear me? Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, let's start this new year right. Thank you, Unitopia. Hey, everybody. I see some people here I haven't seen in a while, or some new ones as well. So, welcome, everybody. New Year's Eve, huh? How many of you go to bed early like I do? How many of you actually stay up to welcome the new year? Maybe I need to like welcome in the new year. Is that bad luck if I don't? I don't know. Yep, loud and clear. Thank you, Goose. Oh gosh. Oh, you're just watching. Oh, well, she was on Sir Morbid. When that was a long one. Don't tell me she was on Sir Morbid's anytime recently. You wake up at 5 a.m. Unitopia. Do you have to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow? I was up. Hey, better with Irish. Hey, Heidi. Let me see. Everybody, if I don't see, look, I'm going to show you. I'm going to turn my camera on real quick and you'll see. So look how bright it is. Okay. I cannot, look at that hair. I cannot see shit because the sun behind me is like blinding me. So I'm going to have to move and I'm starting to sweat. Yeah, about a year ago. Okay. I was going to say, thanks, Utopia. Hey, Jen P, thank you for being here. Blake, I saw you in here too. Thank you. Flava, I saw you in here as well. I seriously doubt we're going to have any people coming in here causing problems when we're talking about Katie. You never know. So thank you to all my mods for being here. Everybody, hi. So y'all, I can't see shit. So I'm going to have to move is what's going to happen. So in a second, I'm going to like mute everything and move because it is all the sun is coming in. It's blinding me. I'm hot. But my husband is home and I thought he was working. Hey, Delilah. And like, I can see half of this. So anyways, I thought he'd be working all day, get home late. And so he sent me a message a while ago and he said, I'm going to hurry up and get home before you have I think he called it a conference. And I said, okay, it's fine. So he's home. So I came out here to sit and it's hot. It's hot behind me. It was so cold this morning. It was in the 30s. I was up at 4:45 this morning. I don't know why. And so you never leave your PJs, Unitopia? Girl, me neither, for the most part. So I'm going to turn this camera off because it's blinding me and I'm going to move. But I just wanted to say hi. I just want to show you how bright it is. It's very sunny here, clearly. And let me see what the temperature is. Oh, my dad just sent me a message. Tell me Happy New Year. Let me see. Let's see what it is. It is not going to tell me. 68 and sunny. It was 32 this morning, 34 this morning. It's been in the 50s, y'all. I can't handle it, but I can handle this. Now I'm sitting here sweating, so I'm going to move. I'm going to move over and I'm going to turn my camera off. Hey, Christine, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm here for the KG news. Hopefully it's bad news for her. So it's hard to tell if it's bad news or good news. So we'll get into that. So she did have a hearing this morning and that hearing was a contempt hearing. Now keep in mind, both parties filed a motion for contempt, right? Both parties did. And the hearing was very quick, apparently, because it was at 9 a.m. And by 9:45, whenever I looked on their website, they had already said that the hearing had been held in person and there is scheduled for February 6th to 9th. Let me see. I can't remember if it's the 6th or the 9th. Let me look real quick. The 9th, February 9th is the hearing. And it is the pretrial conference, pretrial hearing. So thank you, Flava. Thank you. I am going to mention something about like what Charlotte said yesterday, and I was going to kind of start out with that, and then hey, Renelle. And so I was going to kind of touch that base with that real quick because yesterday when I was in Charlotte's live in the very beginning, I didn't really know what was going on. Hey, Snoozy. Snoozy Susie, I didn't really know what was going on, and I was just bothered by it. I really was. So let me do this. Let me mute and turn my camera off real quick so I can scooch over here in the shade as I'm sweating my ass off. Y'all, hold on. That didn't help me too much. I've got this one ray of sunlight like right in my eyeball. You can't wait for the drunk live. Okay. So yeah, she had a hearing this morning. And of course, as we know, it is all by in person. All the hearings are in person. They're not by Zoom. So we don't really know what happened. But what I was saying is the hearing was at 9 a.m. and by 9:45, it showed on the calendar that they had already agreed on a date for a Zoom hearing. And I'm sorry, not a Zoom hearing. No, I'm so distracted right now because I can't see shit. That there's a hearing, the pre-trial hearing. So this is going to trial. This is going to trial. So we're going to talk about that in a sec. See, Unitopia, that's exactly it. She says, Unitopia says either way, it's going to cost more money. And that's exactly it. This is what Robert wants. And look, y'all, I was thinking about this morning, I was talking to somebody else and I was like, whenever we start talking about witnesses and stuff, who's she going to, present as a witness? Who is she going to have expert witnesses? Because you pay for expert witnesses. You pay for their travel time. You pay for their time on the stand. This is going to cost her so much fucking money, y'all. So much money. Hey, Brianna. Hey, Miss Lizzie. I said hi to Renelle, Bruce, Dana, Brett. Again, if I have not said hello to you, it was because I was sitting in a spot where the sun was blinding me. I'm like halfway out of it now. Okay, so Miss Lizzie says, did I miss what the Charlotte situation is? I was confused yesterday too. Okay, so let's start with that real quick, especially since Flag was in chat and Jim P's here. And I'm not here to call anybody out. That's not what, hey, Tina from Georgia, that's not what I'm here to do, clearly. But when I was, hey, Leanne Newton. Okay, and here's another thing, y'all. Leanne Newton in chat, it's so good to see you. She is an attorney. Well, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're in the UK, correct? So a solicitor in the UK. She is somewhat familiar with Katie Joy because Katie Joy basically said that she doesn't know what she's talking about because she's not a licensed attorney in the US and that she's only in the UK. And yes, Mikkel Wells, a jury will hate her. And look, I know I'm just gone from one topic to the next, but I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that. Maybe we'll start with that real quick, because if we have any questions about what's going on with this, we do have somebody that has a better understanding. As we all know, and I've said this before, I am not an attorney. Yes, I was a paralegal. I did work as a paralegal for a few years. That's been a long time. I'm a weirdo, and I don't say weirdo, but I enjoy reading these filings. And so I just read them all, and then I share them with y'all, so you don't have to do it. Pre-trial, yeah. So as we said, and I'll get back to the Charlotte situation here in just a second. We'll kind of go through this first. So as we know, there was the hearing this morning was basically both parties filed motion for sanctions, right? And we went over this last time, and basically Katie Joy is saying, hey, 7M hasn't provided all of their discovery. But they had to amend that. So that was a while ago when they filed that one. And this one's an amended one saying, wait a minute, they are not giving us information on, they're not providing the monetization records for their social media. And Amber Stavik is like, whoa, you never asked for that specifically, right? And so what do basically you never asked for that. And then they also wanted to have the attorney's eyes only stipulation removed, and they wanted, for whatever reasons, the depositions to be made public. And I still don't know why Katie Joy is requesting to have the depositions made public. But one of the things that she was wanting is the attorney's eyes only stipulation removed. As we know, there's a protective order on discovery in this case. So they amended their thing because 7M did provide financial records. And Katie Joy's like, look, if you're going to file emotional sanctions for me, I guess I'm going to do the same thing. So you saw it was discovery. And 7M is like, yeah, no, I don't. No, we don't, because, yeah, you cover the Lively case, don't you, Leanne? Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you covering this whenever it goes to trial. That'd be fantastic. Now, I know you're in the UK, and there's some of us in the US here that if it goes to trial, you'll see us. So 7M is, Katie Joy is saying, look, 7M, you still owe us this discovery. And they're like, no, you didn't even specify the monetization records, but we went ahead and gave them to you anyways. And then Katie Joy's like, yeah, but you only gave us a year's worth. So we'll get into all that in just a second. That's what the hearing was today, right? 7M is saying, Katie Joy, you have not provided discovery at all. Thank you so much, Jill B. Thanks for doing these lives about Katie. I appreciate you for it so much, and much more. Thank you so much. I appreciate your Cash App. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm assuming that's Canada. And where was I at? So Katie Joy, 7M is like, yeah, well, you haven't provided any of your discovery. Any of your financial records. Now listen, y'all, we've talked about this too. She has been, hey, Pink Moments, she has been completely dead set on the fact that this case is going to trial, right? Like that he's going to be arrested and she'll never go to trial. I think that she's shocked right now, to be honest. I really don't think she ever thought this would go to trial. I think she thought Robert Shin would be in prison. And according to one of her statements that she made recently, that where miracles fly, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your hard factual work. Appreciate Southern Mutton. Have a great 2026. You too, for everybody in here. But thank you so much for your super chat. That is greatly appreciated. Everybody in here, yes, Happy New Year. I cannot believe that tomorrow is the 1st. And I really do think that, hey, Chad, I don't think I said hi to you, Chad Warden. I really do think that this is going to be a hard year for her, y'all. I really do. and look, I'm not here to laugh at her misery. She likes to really, she really gets off on other people's misery. Like, Renelle Smith is in here. Renelle, you can drop your link. Jennifer P, anybody that, or Mama T, I haven't seen her in here. Like anybody that has, Renelle's channel link. Katie Joy has been going live on TikTok, and Renelle Smith has been able to capture them all, right? And they are on her channel. So we have so much to talk about. I'm going to try to do it in a logical order. What I want to say real quick about what happened yesterday, I was in, and again, Charlotte goes live at 4 p.m. my time, which is like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure she's going to go live today. If any of my mods that mod for her know anything different, let me know. So if I'm going over time, and then if she doesn't go live, I will go over time. But yesterday when I was in her live stream, she was really upset. Hey, Dad. And I wish you and your family and all your fur babies and your regular children, human babies, Happy New Year as well. So appreciate that, Chad. You'll laugh at the dummy? Okay, I'll let you do it for me, Snoozy. um, but what I was saying is that she revels in everybody's misery and pain, and she was doing it regarding Bree, which Bree, which is affiliated with Gypsy Rose, who apparently was arrested with rugs in her car, right? And what I was saying about Renelle is that she's captured them all. So she did go live last night and said some stuff. And you're behind the bushes watching. Well, look, y'all can fall out of the bushes here. We don't have anything crazy happen in these chats yet. So we'll see what happens as the year goes on. But for now, we're all pretty safe. You can fall out of those bushes. So, yesterday when I was in Charlotte's live, she started it up and you could tell she was really upset. And I understand that she has other things happening in her real life. A lot of us do. So it was compounded. And sometimes whenever, things are hard in our own life, if people start attacking us on our platforms, it becomes overwhelming. But apparently there's some divide happening even in Charlotte's Discord. And she's like, I have no idea what's going on. People, someone's mad at me. People are mad at me. I'm not. Hey, Miss Mags, good to see you. Again, Katie Joy's live last night was a banger. You're not lying, Leanne. But Charlotte was very upset last night, and apparently this divide that's happened in the drama community. So for those of you that are not in the drama community, I'm just going to say this quick and then I'm skipping out of it. But with the divide that's happened, I even said this whenever I was on the live last, is that I don't have, I stayed very neutral in it. Very neutral. I have no reason to not stay neutral. I'm going to stay neutral in this, right? Until somebody does something personally to me. Can I go spend more time in somebody's chat than somebody else's? Yeah, that's my right. If I want to, spend more time in somebody else's chat because that just happens to be whenever I'm live or whenever I'm able to join a live, I'm going to. It does seem like it's happening in every community lately. In fact, this other community I follow, they're having some big fallout too. But what bothered me is that Charlotte was extremely upset. And Charlotte, I adore Charlotte. Charlotte's the one that I started with Katie Joy. And Charlotte was the first one that when I was new and green to this, and I'm still not, still probably new and green in many terms, but she welcomed me and she shared out my videos, and I had questions for her. She always answered them, and I never, she always welcomed me with open arms. And then as I got more into the Katie Joy community, and I was doing more, like Renelle Smith has always been extremely kind to me. When Nene was doing videos, she was so nice to me, y'all. And are you telling me to stay out of it? And so I have stayed out of it, right? And I don't understand why, if I'm able to stay out of it, and Charlotte doesn't even go into anybody's chats. Why is I know Charlotte's so sweet, Goose, I love her. Ginger Lee, I've been a Charlotte fan since her streaming in her car days. Exactly. She started in her car. I wasn't around then, but I have seen lives from them. And I was very upset to see that somehow it went over into Charlotte. And I'm here to tell you one thing. There's one person I will always stand by, and that's Charlotte. Yes, Jen P. And I know that Jen P and Charlotte, there's a bond between them that you can't break, right? I have friends that I know are true friends. There's people I haven't talked to 2 years. They could call me right now and we would catch up like it was yesterday. No hard feelings, right? And I believe that's how some of these relationships are with Charlotte. So with her being so upset yesterday for being brought into her Discord, really kind of, when she was crying, y'all, I cried. It hit me. I don't know why there's a divide. I know why I've made my choices. I'm not going to share them here today. Today's not the time and place to do it. We're talking about Katie Joy. But I just wanted to express my support for Charlotte. And I'm not taking anybody's sides. But if it comes to taking a side and Charlotte's involved, I'm going to take Charlotte's side. But let me tell you why. Because Charlotte would never, ever make any of us make a decision between her and somebody else. We would never have to choose. I will, Renelle. And look, Charlotte's one of the strongest people I know, so she got over it as soon as it happened, I'm sure. But when you have friends or people that friends that you've called a friend for a long time, and people are upset and you don't know why, right? So Charlotte's never going to make me choose, because that's not who she's just won't, because that's not who she is. And so I just wanted to say that I'm going to address this more as we get into the new year, okay? Because I just don't like it's not my place to say anything, but if something's bothering me, I'm going to say it. And I didn't like seeing Charlotte upset yesterday. And I haven't been in her chats recently, but I really haven't been in anybody's. And it's not because I don't support her. It's because a lot of us have lives. Hey, Captain D. That's all right. We're about to get into the Katie stuff now. And that's what it is, Ms. Meggs. Subscribers put creators in difficult positions, not even intentionally. And so there's times that, would go in, there's a creators chat I used to go into, and I used to love going to their chat. And there was a divide, and I apparently was on the wrong side, and I was getting nickered in the freaking, chat. And so it became so uncomfortable, I left. And it wasn't the creator at all. She's one of the most fun people ever. One of the best people, one of the best humans, right? I'm talking about tragic, by the way, in case you're curious. And so if I'm in a chat and it's uncomfortable, but then again, Flava, for instance, she manages her chat very well. Very well. And if people are going at it, she sorts it out. So I'm just hoping that we go into the new year and we can kind of change that, because I still fully never really made I never chose a side one way or the other. I was kind of pushed to go to a side, and hey, we all know, you see me in Flava's chat. But anyways, Flava's never told you where to go, Queen Milk. Yeah. So, I might have said that wrong. Queen, just like Queen. So I don't know who you're talking about, Katrina, so I won't butt in. You're probably having a conversation chat, not even what I'm talking about. So anyways, okay, let's switch back to Katie Joy. That's what we're here for today. I wanted to bring that up because I do not want to see anybody upset, especially one of the strongest people that I know. And especially when she's like, she don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. I just kind of got a gist of it. Katie Joy. Yeah, okay. So, that's another thing. Like Charlotte was saying yesterday, she was like, wouldn't it be great to have, hey, Helen, so good to see you. Helen was in the chat yesterday. But I know that Charlotte said yesterday that she would, and hopefully Pro Charlotte Luke will make his way in here. I know he works, but sometimes he sneaks in and says hello. But I know that he was saying with Charlotte, like, yeah, Charlotte was like, we need to do a live stream where we have all the people that are blocked by Katie Joy to tell their story. Like how long will that line be out the door, y'all? Right? Like how many people have been blocked by Katie Joy? And I think that I just saw whoever it was speaking in here. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. I was just reading. Thank you, Unitopia. We'll make that daily reminder for Luke since he's not here. And then I've got about an hour and a half before Charlotte goes live, so we'll try to squeeze this out. There would be thousands. She's blocked so many people. So many people. Very long, Jill B says. Yep. We break the internet. I'm telling y'all. I'm like, and another thing, I was wondering too, is like with her sub count, I'm really curious to see, and we'll talk about this at the beginning of the year because I'm cutting into what we're doing today. For those that know that I have a really crap memory, just remind me at the beginning of the year that we wanted to kind of talk about Katie Joy's numbers and what my thoughts are on that. And to see where it goes. Frenchie Bulldog says, hold on. I hope 2026 is a year for accountability. Look, if this goes into 2027 because it takes time to go into the trial, 2026 will definitely be the year that she's starting accountability. And hopefully it all closes up in 2026. I'm sure 7M's ready for that too. You've been blocked on several venues, Gigi. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Hey, Coy, you didn't miss too much. We're just about to start. Hey, Ruth Carroll, we're just about to start. Hey, Bean. I didn't see Bert come in. Hello. Hello, Tripping Gauntlet. How are you doing? It's okay to be late. We're talking about Katie Joy. And the Oprah Beamer gets repoed. Goose. Look, all I'm going to say is karma. And we obviously we can't determine how karma is going to get you, right? Your karma is your karma. It's going to get you. We know Katie's done some horrible things to some people. And there we go. So, all right, back to Katie Joy. Charlotte, hopefully will start following Katie Joy a bit more. Again, Renelle Smith, if anybody will put her link in chat. If you're not familiar with Renelle Smith. Hey, Donna. How are you doing? And thank you so much. Thanks for keeping us well informed. Doing a fantastic job. Donna, thank you so much. I have not seen you in a while, my friend. It is so good to see you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your super chat. You do want to say whatever happened in other communities. I'm sorry, I can't see that. Let me scroll back up, and then I promise y'all we'll scooch on. I'm just really bothered by what happened yesterday. So whatever happens in other communities, I would not let that affect how I behave in this chat. Thank you. And I would never do it in anybody else's chat either. So I appreciate that. I do. My chat is not the place to argue, if we're not talking about it. But like I said, you unsubscribe quietly. Why argue with a beer can? Right? You can argue with the wall. It's not going to get you anywhere. So her karma's coming. I feel it. Look, y'all, we said this just a minute ago. Katie Joy never thought we'd get here. Here we are, New Year's Eve day. She had a contempt hearing this morning. Both parties filed a motion for contempt. And the hearing was this morning. And it was at 9 a.m. And by 9:45, it was on the calendar that there is a pretrial conference February 9th at, I don't even know what time it is. We're going to look at that in a second. And it said that the hearing today was heard. So it's possible, probably did not happen, but it is possible that the judge made a ruling during the hearing, and we'll see that pop up, after it's written, or that this judge is going to rule on these motions. So there's a few things that have happened, and y'all bear with me. I'm going to see if I can hold on. If I can share my screen properly and be able to see chat today. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I have the ability today. My ability is limited. My husband's home. I'm going to have him come out here and try to fix this crap for me. Let's see. All right, so let me see if I can share this. Do I have the right one? No. No, this is from last time. So there's a couple things that happened since I went live. I went live on the 18th, I believe. And after I got off of live, there were more filings that were filed, but it was just a response to the other's motions. So that wasn't surprising. There were things that I highlighted that I wanted to show. And these are, regarding the contempt, right? Because we know last time I went live, we talked about the rulings. We talked about that that it was ruled that 7M's motion for injunctive relief was denied. And, that's good for Katie, but it's not surprising. It's very difficult for a judge to take away someone's rights like that, especially in this kind of situation. It's not that severe, right? So that's not surprising. But the motion for Katie's motion to reconsider, the ruling on that was not Katie's favor. It appeared on the surface that it probably was. It wasn't. Okay. So all right. What the hell? All right. So that, that was not granted. And it's going to trial. And I really do think, hey Cheryl, I really do think that she is shocked that it's that's gone this far. And especially now that there is an actual pretrial hearing set, that has to be like such a shocker for her. Because we're going on 4 years now. And I would just, you know what? Let me pull this up first. I'm going to show some pictures. Let me see if this is one of them. Nope. Nope. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh, I just want to put something up on the screen while we're talking. I should have done this earlier. Come on. What the hell? Hold on. Okay, I think I'm getting to him. Okay. Oh, y'all, this is it's so funny when you see this crap again. Okay, hold on, let me share it. Because she never thought this would be here. Remember this? Hold on. Make it bigger. This was October of 2023. Someone reminded me of this last night. That's a little too big. In October of 2023, so she was doing, on Instagram stories, ask me anything or whatever. And she says, people only want to believe what goes along with their preferred narrative. And Katie Joy says, they are also obsessed with a frivolous lawsuit filed against me and really actually believe I'm worried about it or even care. I don't worry about it and don't care. My lawyers deal with it for me because it's baseless. It's baseless, y'all. So she absolutely. All right, let's see if y'all can see that. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Hold on a second. Let me see if I've got another option here. That's a little bit bigger. So let me go back and try to increase this. So here we are. This is, of course, she's going to oppose their motion for contempt, right? So that's no surprise. Absolutely no surprise. So that's what happened. Both parties filed, but I want to show you some things in this. We'll go through it very, very quick. So basically what has happened since I went live last time, after we looked at the rulings, they both filed motions up, they both opposed, they filed oppositions to the other's motion for sanctions, right? And then that was it. But then on Christmas Eve, y'all, on Christmas Eve, 7M files another filing. So we'll look at that. So we're going to look at what was filed. This is back on the 18th, I think, somewhere around there that they filed these. But there's a couple things I just want to look at. But again, let's just remember, I really don't think Katie Joy thought we were going to get to this point. And, she said, that Robert was supposed to be indicted by January. Well, here we are. Tomorrow's January. You're guessing she spent around $300,000. Yeah, she spent over $200,000. She said that in the summer. And I know these last 2 months have been extremely expensive for her. Extremely. And it's only getting worse from here, y'all. Like she has to be just pissed off because, again, she thought Robert was going to be arrested, that he would be in prison and all this would be dropped. She's not the only she is not the only, he's not the only plaintiff in this case. So it could still go to prison. And what white collar prison is he going to be in, right? Like where is he going to go? So, she's just been convinced that was going to happen. And so I don't know. All right. So let's take a peek at this. This is Katie's memorandum of law opposing 7M's motion for contempt. And basically they're just saying that I don't even want to get into it too much because we're going to run out of time and there's 10 pages. But basically, saying that regarding the January 29th, 2024 order, right? That was the ruling on the motions to compel hearing that was held earlier, like it was in June, and then there was delays because I can't remember what the delay was. I remembered it the other day, and of course now I can't remember what it was. There was a delay, and so then that never went to and then it was just, by the time it was ruled on, it was January of 2024. And so they're saying, basically, look, I don't think at this point that the judge is going to really find either party in contempt. I could be wrong. 7M, like I said, filed on Christmas Eve, and we'll look at what she filed, what Amber Stavik filed, and it could be that that 7M has a very strong legal argument there, and that Katie could be found in contempt. Now, is she going to be thrown in jail? No. I know we all want her to, right? Goose, I think someone commented at you earlier and told you to become educated or something because you were like, yeah, we want to see her put in the slammer. And they're like, it's a civil suit. She'd only be thrown in jail for she's found in contempt of court. And it's like, there was a hearing this morning. And what if she was? Great. Okay. So then the judge put stipulations on her and then she doesn't follow those. Yeah, her ass will end up in jail. So it's a possibility. I wonder if Toad even says anything. I'm sure Toad is secretly hoping she gets arrested. Oh, that's right, Susie. I'm sorry. She is a lawyer. I know. How dare me? I'm sorry. She's a lawyer. She's a doctor. She's a therapist. She's a psychiatrist. She's what else is she? She's all kinds of stuff, isn't she? All but a good person. So they're saying basically that the last memorandum. So, okay, as a reminder, one of the things that they did up to this last hearing was they had a lot of correspondence, and we were able to see that correspondence between the two attorneys because it was admitted into both of their exhibits. Like both of them put parts of their correspondence. Some of it was different than the other. And so basically 7M, Katie is saying that 7M September 17th, 2025 memorandum in support of their motion for temporary injunction. Okay, so they're saying, look, you're requesting this stuff, but you already have it. So that's one reason why we're not in contempt, right? You're saying that we owe you this, but look, you already have it. Like, for instance, you've admitted in the September 17th memorandum in support of your own motion for temporary injunction that you know of these things, meaning the June 24th, 2025 YouTube video. And that is the video where Katie is like, yeah, we won, right? Or she's done a lot of those, but nonetheless. And her July 29th, 2025 appearance on News Nation with Ashley Banfield and multiple social media posts from July and August 2025. And what they're saying is, and keep this in mind, it's important to keep in mind what she's saying here, so I put it in this box. She's saying basically, look, you have all this information, okay? You have this. We're not in contempt. But when you just keep in mind what they're saying here, because that's not what 7M was exactly saying. Sure, is that the broad spectrum of it? Yes. Is it really it? No. Okay. And it's just so frustrating. They're saying, look, you have all this already. You've already said you have it. Okay. They're saying that they've done all these things, they've provided stuff, that they're not in contempt, basically. Let me see if I highlighted anything else in here. We'll just get to the conclusion. Hold on, what did I highlight here? Here, discovery is demonstrably ongoing. Plaintiffs produced tax and financial materials 22 months after the court's order. And as of the filings of this opposition, they have produced monetization records for only a single year, despite a multi-year production mandate. So again, they're saying, look, you haven't provided records, these monetization records we've been asking for. Again, 7M will come back and be like, no, you did not specifically ask for those. And there's another correspondence where she's like, you didn't ask for those, but look, I'm fine, we'll give it to you. And then another one, it's like, yes, we gave it to you, but apparently they gave 1 year, and it's last year. Why they did that, I don't know. As we see going through this, 7M's attorney, Amber Salvig, is very strategic. So again, like I said before, she's playing chess. Katie Joy's attorney is like stuck on kindergarten checkers, right? Like there's no comparison. So for whatever her purpose for that is, it's within the law. I can pretty much assure that. And there's a reason why she did it. Okay. But that's what they're saying here. Like, you haven't provided that. And Katie's position that 7M must complete production of court ordered monetization records, forming the basis of their damages claims before Katie. So basically, they're saying, you're saying that our position that we're not going to provide Katie's highly sensitive personal tax records, okay, until you provide these things, is not us being contempt of court. Because 7M is like, well, thank you, Jennifer Moore, Katie Joy's attorney. Thank you, Jennifer Moore, and some of your correspondents for saying that you will not provide us this information until we provide X, Y, and Z. But we've already provided it according to us. We don't think that we've done Connect 4, right? Yeah, you're on it more than I am. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Connect 3. Oh, she would lose her shit if Emily D. Baker covered it. If it goes to trial, maybe she will. Did I show? I know I've got it in here somewhere where she was insulting Emily D. Baker and saying that Emily D. Baker's channel only grew to what it is because of Katie Joy. She honestly said that. I'm not lying. I've got it somewhere. I'll put it. I need to put it like on a slideshow, and maybe I'll do that at the beginning of the year. Like go through all these different random things that Katie Joy has said. And shows that she's just full of shit. But anyways, and 7M was like, well, wait a minute, these things that you're saying, we owe you, we don't. You're wrong. You amended. So that's another thing. It's like Katie Joy said, okay, you're in contempt of court. 7M provided what Katie Joy was asking for. According to 7M, they're saying they provided what was asked for. And 7M and Katie Joy amended their motion and said, okay, well, now you owe us. Okay, basically, yeah, okay, you gave us some financial records, but you didn't give us monetization records. And 7M again is saying you did not specify that. And we're not going to give Katie's highly sensitive personal tax records until you provide us with that stuff. This is delay. This is absolute, in my opinion, y'all, this is absolute delay. They're still hoping Robert Shin is going to be arrested. They do not want Katie Joy's tax records out there. This is so clear. Whatever's on her tax records, they do not want 7M to see, period. I cannot pronounce your name, but glad to see you. You're hiding in the outer limits. So thank you for dropping in and dropping down and saying hello. And if I can't pronounce your name, I'm going to try. I'll butcher it. Hey, Luck Lady. She's a journalist, y'all. She's a journalist. That's another thing she even said recently on a Reddit thing. And it's very clear. It's very clear as we've gone through this entire situation and looked at all the filings. The judge even said it in the summary judgment ruling that Katie Joy deems herself a journalist. That Katie Joy is the one that calls herself a journalist. And the also in the motion to compel hearing, the ruling on that, the judge said this court has not deemed Katie Joy a journalist, basically. So yeah, good luck with that. And another thing we talked about is I think that, hello, Snoozy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think that, now I forget what I was saying, so it doesn't matter what I was thinking. Okay. So they're saying, look, you can say that by us saying we're not providing it, we're in contempt. But again, what is the argument that 7M's going to have? And they're saying, look, it's barred by the principles of clean hands. You don't have clean hands. You're not providing everything. It took you 22 months. It's weird because in part of it, they'll say it took them 22 months, and then they'll go back and say it took them 19 months. It's weird. It's like, can you not even get that right? But they're saying here that, look, clean hands. Neither one of us have clean hands, basically. So how are we in contempt? So they're saying, she's also saying that it's untimely. She said discovery in this matter closed in July of 2024. Following close of discovery, the parties engaged in extensive dispositive motion practice throughout 2024, with plaintiffs seeking relief based on evidentiary records. So, here it's like she's saying, look, we were able to file this because we did it within the time frame to be able to file non-dispositive motions, right? You didn't do that, therefore it's untimely, and this needs to be tossed. But from my understanding, and I don't think Leanne's still in here, but if she is, she can chime in. My understanding, though, is that with a motion to file for contempt, that even if discovery is closed, and even if the limit on non-dispositive motions, which motion, okay, hold on, I just confused myself here. They're saying that you cannot file this. I mean, you could, we're not in contempt because the time has already passed. Like there's no time to file non-dispositive motions because that is ended. But my understanding is when it comes to a motion for contempt, that you could still file it in this situation. So I don't know, what's going to happen here, but basically they're saying that it's untimely. And then here goes Katie's favorite thing to say is this pattern suggests the true purpose of this motion is not to secure discovery that plaintiffs genuinely need for trial, but to retaliate for Katie's proper sanctions request filed in August 2025 based on plaintiff's systematic discovery violations. So again, they're saying that this motion is not to discover, they don't want discovery, right? Like they're not in this for discovery. They're just out to harass, right? They're just out to make it harder for Katie Joy. Y'all, sorry I got distracted a second ago. Like some little legs walked past my house and I was like, what? And I totally forgot what I was saying. They're not seeking to reopen discovery. They're saying she failed to comply with a court order for discovery already sought. They're not seeking to reopen discovery. No, yeah, I understand. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I got sidetracked when I was talking there. She failed to comply with a court order for discovery already sought. But weren't they saying that here they're saying, look, you cannot file this because there was a deadline to be able to file any of these motions and we're already past it. So you cannot file this, basically, is what I read there. And obviously 7M is like, no, we can still file a motion for contempt. And they did. right? So I confused myself there, and I'm probably confused everybody. So thank you, Leanne, for chiming in, because I asked you to, and then I'm like, what? What did I say? They say that defendants have not refused discovery. I put the question marks here because very flat out in the correspondence between the attorneys, she flat out refused discovery. But I guess she's kind of backing it with saying that they articulated a reasonable, sequencing position that tied directly to plaintiffs in complete compliance. So basically, the whole clean hand things, like, look, you haven't done it, I haven't done it. What we're saying is, you provide yours, we'll provide ours. And I think what 7M is saying is, what part of we provided it do you not understand, right? Okay. Thank you, Leanne. Yes, Paige is still running so far. I confused myself by going back with the whole non-dispositive, when that's already been closed. Discovery's already been closed, obviously, and the timeline to file any non-dispositive motions have already passed. And but to file a motion for contempt was still allowed. But Katie Joy is saying, no, you can't. But again, do I think Amber Stavik would have filed it if it was not allowed, if it would have just been tossed, if it was improper? No. Again, Amber Stavik is a very good attorney, And I'm sure there's better attorneys than Amber Stavik, right? But when you're up against Katie Joy's attorneys, anybody looks good. I think that she's just unable. Like, I don't think she's able to figure out who Amber is yet. I don't think she's capable. I just don't. So basically, they're just saying that they're not in compliance either. So, toss this. Okay. Let's move on to Jennifer Moore's. We're going to go on to Jennifer Moore's. So she put on, I just have to show this because it drives me crazy. She filed it as, it just goes to show, we were just talking about this when I'm sitting there saying, yeah, like the difference in attorneys, the quality is crazy, right? Here, she filed this as the 10th declaration of Jennifer Moore. No, this is not your 10th. This is your 11th. You've already filed your 10th. This is your 11th. And then she refers to it as her 11th. Like, how do you not go back and, what? Like, it's things like this. And we've seen it too throughout this whole entire situation. Through all the filings, how many times has Katie Joy's attorney referred to themselves as plaintiff? Numerous times. Kept getting plaintiffs and defendants confused. It was wild. So anyways, this is her 11th, declaration, but here she's filing it as her 10th. And what she did is she filed as exhibits, she put in correspondence between the attorneys. So we're going to look at some of these letters because there's something I want to point out. Because as I kind of went back and was reading this the other day, I was like, wait a minute, what? And it's nothing groundbreaking, okay? But let me see. Where am I? How did I get down there? Okay, so here's her exhibits. I'm trying to keep up with chat. I'm reading it here and there because the way that I have this set up, y'all, is so stupid. Like, I don't need to be talking about anybody else's IQ at this point. If y'all saw how I was managing this whole situation right now, I deserve to be slapped. Okay, so her exhibit. All right, so she puts this letter in that was from June. Okay, so she's basically saying, look, we've already asked for all of this and you haven't provided it. One thing that they keep bringing up, one thing that keeps being brought up is that, hey, 7M, you had these Instagram accounts that are no longer. So the people that have been around and have followed this from the beginning and were actually on Instagram and saw the accounts, Wilking Sisters 2 and Without a Crystal Ball or Clue, it was never really like argued that those were not 7M. Okay. They never denied that. They never said, no, it wasn't us. But it was never part of, according to 7M, anything that they asked for until later on. And so they're basically saying, look, so every time Jennifer Moore would ask Amber Stavig about information on these accounts, she would just totally ignore. Like, it's never been addressed. And so remember how we keep seeing Amber Stavig say, look, you keep threatening us with, that you're going to file this, you're going to file that. Like, you keep threatening us. Like, stop with the threats. And I was like, I haven't really seen the threats. I'm not saying it didn't happen, obviously, because we saw, who was it? Graham Martin, the original attorney on this, Without a Crystal Ball or Clue. I know. Graham Martin, her original attorney in this, we saw him threaten a lot. And it comes across so awful, y'all. So I was like, oh, okay, well, here's one of the threats. It's basically like, I have yet to receive a response from you regarding the scheduling of depositions for, okay. So there's a couple things here. So let me just finish reading it and then we'll go into it. I have yet to receive a response from you regarding the scheduling of depositions for Hannah Shin and Shirley Kim. It's my understanding that you refuse to accept service of them because they are not your clients. This is not a legally sufficient answer. Okay, so she's saying you haven't provided this. Okay, then she goes on saying, we have copies of it. We know that they're part of 7M. We can prove it through X, Y, and Z. And if you do not communicate to me by the end of business on June 10th, and what is this dated? June 6th. By end of business on June 10th, 2024, that you will accept service, I will arrange for domesticated service of a subpoena upon them and charge the cost to you. So basically, she's like, I'll just subpoena them. Okay, I'll just subpoena them. I understand that this is so, y'all. This is why I'm just like, do you not remember what you said? I understand that you are being treated for thyroid cancer. Really? You're going to bring that? This is just, oh my gosh. Anyway, but you agreed to the discovery deadlines, and I will have these 2 depositions. In fact, if I have to have this service domesticated, I will procure a subpoena for Isaiah Shin, and I will look at deposing some of the other dancers who were working with 7M Films at the time the statements in the complaint were made. Since they have evidence relevant to statements you claim my client made about housing arrangements, tithing, dance choreography, and wardrobe that your client believes were defamatory. All right. So basically, this is back in June 2024 saying, look, I want to depose Shirley Kim and Hannah Shin, right here. Hannah Shin and Shirley Kim. I want to depose them. And you're telling me that you can't force them into depositions, so I'll just subpoena them. Okay? Well, let's remember this last filing that Katie Joy filed, they're saying one of the things that they wanted to do in addition to, the attorney's eyes only stipulation being removed, they said they want the court to reopen depositions, reopen discovery, reopen depositions, because they feel that they have the right to depose. They want to question Hannah Shin and Shirley Kim. And then 7M is like, in the response, she's like, why didn't you subpoena them? I told you that I can't force them to do it. I guess you agree with my answer because I never heard anything back. And here, and look, back in June, she's threatening to just subpoena them, but she never did. And now they want to reopen depositions. And 7M literally told her in that letter, and I know we read one of them, and it might be one of these I have set here to read. I'm trying to go through it quick. She basically said, just because you can't do your job doesn't mean we get to go back and redo, right? There's no redos here. Do your job, do it when you're supposed to. And I can't help you. I can't help you that can't do your shit right. Talk about inept. I'm telling you, Irish, we know. So this was back in June. And it's the threats. It's the threats for me. It's just, I mean, I get it. I understand that. I get that. Yeah, I need to hear from you by the end of business day. But it's like, okay, well, we're just going to subpoena them and we're going to charge you for it. Okay, do it. Why didn't you do it? The failure to provide basic discovery, such as tax returns and financial information, suggests your clients. Now, one thing that this does show, y'all, is it does show that there has been a huge, I mean, clearly, we know this. We know that discovery has been a huge issue in this case, like huge. Okay, going on 4 years, it's all been about discovery. And this does show that here's all the back and forth. You've got Jennifer Moore saying, we have been fighting for you to provide your tax records since day one. But in the same breath, they haven't provided Katie's, right? And so 7M is also saying, we've been fighting with you since day one. So it's just a big back and forth. And for the hearing that's, scheduled for February, did I say 6th or 9th, this pretrial hearing, it needs to be sorted. So if it's not sorted by then, now, again, the judge is going to rule on these motions that were heard today at the hearing today. And let's say she says, okay, yeah, you're in contempt. Because, I mean, maybe she will. Okay. Doubtful, but, never know, right? Then it's going to be like, okay, this is what you need to do, X, Y, and Z, or, whatever. And they need to be sorted by February 9th. And if they're not, and then they get to this hearing, then, they're going to sort out, they're going to iron out all these details. But I'm telling you, look, how many scheduling orders in this case have actually been followed? None. And I'm not joking, not a one. So I think this judge now is serious. She's on point. She's got it under control. It's coming. It's where it needs to be. And now I don't see this judge allowing anything to cause any more delays. So I think that, when we get to this hearing, it's going to, if Katie still decides to not comply, right, then we'll see what happens there. But I think Katie Joy is scared, and I think that they are going to, they're going to hold off as long as they can, think that Robert Shin's going to be arrested on New Year's Eve. Hey, can I say he will or will not? No, I can't. Certainly cannot. That's what she's holding out for. I'm telling you. See, look here. This is her 11th declaration, but she filed it as her 10th. But here, she's saying that this is Exhibit 4 of her 11th, y'all. This was July 26th, and basically, I have yet to receive a response from you regarding discovery deficiencies noted in my letter dated June 6th. Which is basically saying I'm going to subpoena them. To summarize that letter, I ask that your client supplement production as required. By civil procedure, Minnesota rules, civil procedure do not, 26.05. If I do not receive this supplemental production, I will ask that the court sanction your clients. Okay, so she was threatening sanctions here. They've threatened sanctions several times. And Amistad is like, she didn't lose sleep. Like, okay, whatever, yeah, go ahead. Dismissing their claims in entirety, taking negative evidentiary inference. At Mr. Shin's step, okay. At Mr. Shin's, this is something I wanted to look at with you guys, because this was back in 2024. They had just been deposed. Okay, they just had their depositions just closed, and At Mr. Shin's deposition, you indicated that you would identify the individual responsible for the generation of the income statements that were provided in discovery. I also asked that you provide the name of 7M's tax accountant. This was, let me go back and look at the date again, July 26th. Okay. I also asked that you provide the name of 7M's tax accountant. Okay, keep that in mind. On July 26th, she writes a letter to Amber Savage and says, you said at depositions that you would provide who, came up with these numbers, whatever. And I also asked that you provide us with the tax accountant. Can y'all tell that Katie wrote this? I can, right, Susie? I mean, exactly, Goose. Goose is like, me too. Sounds like KJ. Okay, so keep that in mind. Bear that in mind, right? That she's saying, look, we want the information to your tax accountant. And also, I highlighted this because it says, also please provide copies of any NDAs between Miranda and James Derrick and 7M or the Shekinah Church. Well, first of all, Shekinah is not even part of this lawsuit, okay? But nonetheless, she wants their NDAs and saying, that James Derrick indicated in his deposition that he had signed an NDA and presumably Miranda had too. And so she wanted those executed copies. But let me see. Let's see. And then here she gets into, I've also been advised that Robert Shin and or 7M Films maintains an Instagram account known as Without a Crystal Ball or Clue. I'm told that account has published statements that purport to be comments directly from 7M and or Mr. Shin about this lawsuit. And y'all, I don't think so. I don't. Hey, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate that very much. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anybody else. Okay, I think I've got that down at least. And so I don't think that channel, or not channel, that account on Instagram ever talked about this lawsuit. And I asked somebody who is way more familiar with the 7M side, the dancer side, all of that scenario, and they told me they don't recall. Of course, I can never state anything as fact, but they don't recall that they ever talked about this lawsuit. But nonetheless, 7M, Amber Savage has just kind of dismissed that because, look, if it's not relevant to this lawsuit and it wasn't asked to be provided, okay, whatever. Why are you asking for it now? Then finally, I want to renew our request at 7M Films to make Hannah Shin available for deposition. She clearly acted on behalf of the company in many respects and should be made available without the need for a subpoena. If it becomes necessary to subpoena her, we will ask the court to assess the cost of the subpoena to your clients. Okay, did we just hear that again? Okay, she's going to subpoena them. If not, the next part of this was, okay, so there's a case study here. So let me exit out because remember what we just looked at, y'all, right? Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. That she said on the 26th of July, I want you to tell me who prepares your taxes. Okay. This was on, let me see. Shit. Okay. The 6th of July. Okay, let me share this with you. On July 6th, so what, 20 days prior? Katie Joy made this post. Meet Robert's money girl Chrissy Keller. Now that's not really doxing her, right? I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know if we can really consider that. Nonetheless, it's shitty, but Katie Joy is just a shitty person, right? When she does this kind of stuff, so it's not surprising. Robert Shin, CPA, tax preparer, and handler of all taxes for the cult members, also works in entertainment. Chrissy Keller is being sued for her role in defrauding cult members, filing incomplete tax returns, and not accurately showing how donations to the church were appropriated. She is also known to help manage the dancers' contracts with brands. Wonder if, and then she tags Electric Entertainment official. She tags them. Wonder if they know about the lawsuit and her alleged mishandling of money. Yeah, alleged. Okay, this is all allegations. Alleged mishandling of money on behalf of Robert Shin. Chrissy was promoted to VP of Finance. There's obviously a reason why she was promoted to VP of Finance, Katie, while you sit in your basement and just stalk people like a weirdo. She's out doing something. And that was in 2022. And they were proud to announce her expertise with managing the books. Okay. Well, just because she's involved in this lawsuit in LA does not mean that she's mishandled anything. These are all accusations. But wait a minute. On July 26th, 20 days after Katie gives out this woman's information, they say they need it. But yet we see filings now where they're like, well, you already have this, and we're going to come back to that. You already have this information. Why are you asking us for it? You already have it. Why are you asking us for it? Okay, we still have to remember that was in this last motion that Katie Joy filed, the amended one. Sorry, I'm just reading now. Chat. Take a little breather. So, it's like, wait a minute. You had this information. Why, and I get it. Okay, you need to tell us yourself. Okay, right? Fine. Well, Katie Joy told the world. And not only that, she accused her of, well, she was kind of careful in her words here because she's saying that she's being sued for her role in defrauding cult members. Technically, yeah. Okay, that's true, I guess, right? So, on technicalities here. So then what happens next? Again, these were all filed. We're looking at the responses here. That was Katie Joy's opposition, and then 7M filed one as well. Oh gosh, what did I do here? I lost my place. 7M filed one as well. And we'll just kind of look at it quickly. To remind you of what it was that they were seeking. All right, so and I know this probably isn't big enough for some of you to see. And I think that if I do this, is that too big? No, actually you can see it. My whole setup is totally different every time I get on here. I'm like, I cannot figure this crap out. Because as soon as I shut this down, y'all, I just go on with my life until something else happens and I forget about it. And I'm like, oh crap. And then I come back like 30 minutes before I'm going to go live. I'm like, oh, I should probably try to figure this stuff out. Katie already said she posted Miranda and James' marriage license that she obtained in Discovery. Yeah, I went over that last time, like where she didn't really admit it fully, did she? But she admitted it, like half-assed, like she alluded to it. Okay, so then 7M filed their memorandum of law and opposing defendants' motion for discovery sanctions and reclassification of documents, right? And they give their reasons, and I'm not even really going to go. Oh, I do want to show something here, though, y'all. Do y'all remember who was in chat when we had the grammar police come in? And if the grammar police is in here today, just want to say hello. You're always welcome. I'm I'm never going to boot you. I get that you were trying to help me because you know, but it was just the way it was just the way it was done that really bothered me, right? It did. It bothered me. But look at what I found, y'all. Okay. So here we go. The problem that this person had was that I was pronouncing spoliation, you know, like the spoliation of evidence, that I was pronouncing it as, hold on, where did I go? Where am I? That I was pronouncing it as spoliation instead of spoliation. And they kept trying to tell me it's spoliation, right? And I'm like, okay, number one, if I cared enough, I would have corrected myself, blah, blah, whatever, right? So this, they kept, I don't want to say they kept coming at me, but they did it a few times. And then they came into my chat and corrected me again. I want to show y'all something because I was pronouncing it spoliation on occasion, not all the time. I didn't say spoliation every time because I also said spoliation. Look at here, y'all. Look at what's, okay, this is 7M's. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Oh, I can't. It only goes to 400. That's been crazy. 7M and and I realized this whenever I was going through this, I'm like, holy shit, y'all. 7M typed it as spoliation. So phonetically, as I'm going through stuff and I'm reading it, I said spoliation. I read it as it states. Can y'all see that right there? I read it as it says it. So that is a typo on 7M's side. It's an error on my side for not catching it. And, you know, as I'm reading through these, I'm like, oh, that should be spoliation. But then they interchange it. It's just, it must be a, and it's an error on their end, on 7M's part. And it's not a good error because obviously that is an autocorrect. And it comes in and it corrects it. And I was just phonetically reading it. So guess what, Grammar Police? I was right and wrong. And I just had to point that out because I'm petty like that. So basically with this, they're saying, you know, giving the reasons why. And again, for any of my mods that are in here that have the link, that I've got to turn the heater off, y'all. Give me 1 second. Jeez Louise. Hang on. I hate a heater. Like I cannot stand a heater. I'd rather be wrapped up in stuff. Any mods that have the link to the website. Hold on. I wonder. I tried this last time and I didn't do so good with it. Let me see. Nope, I'm not even going to attempt it. The link to the website where you can get all of these documents, right? They're all on there. You can go and you can read them for yourself if you wish. But again, this is just them opposing it, giving their reasons. One thing that they did. Okay, she says here, as defendants stated in their own memorandum, they did not move this court within 30 days of their requested change. They cite the September 26, 2025 and October 17, 2025 as dates where they first brought up the requested change. Defendant's motion dated December 10th, 2025 is 30 days beyond each of those dates and therefore untimely. So there's a lot of that in here. I'm just picking it and it doesn't, I shouldn't, because then it's even more confusing. So if you want to read the whole filing, you can find it on their website. But basically, they're giving the reasons that the court should deny defendant's motion for discovery sanctions and reclassification of documents. And remember, the reclassification of documents is to drop the attorney's eyes only stipulation and make the make all the depositions public. So, oh, who just said hi to me? I'm in and out of chat, y'all. I'm so bad. Hey, Billy Martin, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone. If you've come in here and I have not acknowledged you, I'm really not even looking at the chat because, like I said, I'm reading these documents on another screen just to keep the flow going. If I have not acknowledged you. Hey, BC, Happy New Year's to everyone, as they say. All right, so, and then what was funny was 7M, Amber Stavig's affidavit, she just puts in, let's see, let me remember what she put in. Amber Stavig's affidavit. Let me see. Let's see. Let me show the screen again. She says, December 10, 2025 is the first date I was served with defendant's motion for discovery sanctions and reclassification of documents. Attached here to is Exhibit A. It's a true and correct copy of a letter I sent to defendant's counsel November 21st, 2025. And basically, she just threw her this letter in here and she's like, this was regarding the meet and confer and saying that we absolutely reject your request to remove these stipulations or whatnot. She just put that in there. Okay. So a couple things, few things, and then we'll try to wrap it up. But so Katie Joy went live on YouTube right after the ruling where it was, her motion to reconsider summary judgment. She went live on YouTube. But it was guised as she's going to talk about Blake Lively's lawsuit. And for anybody that is WYCB in here, if anybody hasn't checked, go ahead, please put their link in chat. Any of my mods that have it. WOACB versus WOACB has been around a long time, covering Katie Joy's shenanigans. So, for instance, Leanne, if you're still in here and you're not familiar with the channel, go check it out. It dates back. And Renelle Smith, same thing. We want to put her channel link as well. I'll try to remember to put it in the description. But WOACB, so Without a Crystal Ball versus Without a Crystal Ball, has been around a long time. And all they do is put Katie Joy against Katie Joy. That's it. Okay, so Leanne is familiar with it. So you've been checking her out, Leanne. You've been on the Katie Joy train, haven't you? That's good to know. I'm glad to hear that. I really, really am. Really glad to hear that. And I know that you're familiar with Renelle because I saw you guys chatting, so I know you're familiar with her channel. So she could check out that channel. I didn't know that she was in here. So what was I saying? Okay, so Katie Joy did go live, and she was trying to under the ruse of 7M. I mean, good gracious, y'all, of Blake Lively. And for any of us that have been following her a long time, it was so funny when I looked up and I saw Without a Crystal Ball versus Without a Crystal Ball. When I saw them in here, it's like anybody that's been around a long time, they know that whenever Katie goes live, so if something big is happening in her world and we know that she wants to address it, she'll do it in a way where it's not direct, right? Thank you, Blake. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jim P. You can put Renelle's channel too if you have it, because I think Renelle probably skipped out because I don't think she's feeling well. I think there's a lot of people. I think I saw Blake. Are you not feeling well either? Yeah, I've been a huge fan of them for years too. Hey, Lamb Chop. Yeah, definitely an OG. That's for sure. And it's so funny because it's been kind of quiet for a while for the most part, but y'all, it's about to get busy. Katie Joy is not going to have a good New Year's Eve. I mean, maybe she will. I shouldn't say that. I can't dictate how she feels. I mean, this might not even affect her. You know, I don't know. It has to. But what tells me that it did is after this ruling, and she realized, shit, this is going to trial. She went on it live. Okay, and I'm going to play part of it because we knew it. Like I was chatting with somebody and I was like, we know that she didn't just go live to talk about Blake Lively's lawsuit. She's going to bring this up. And she did. Of course she did. So let me find this real quick. Give me a second. Because I booted myself out and I got to get back in. I recorded just the snippets of, because it's still on her channel, I'm sure. I mean, she wouldn't delete this. She can't delete it if she's talking about 7M because it would go against the order. And I know sometimes we think that Katie Joy's been deleting stuff, but I hate to defend Katie Joy, but I will defend, you know, when it's true, I'll say it's true. Oh my gosh, this is so small. I can't see. Hold on a second. 1219, 1219. Okay, it's these. Do y'all want to see? Y'all want to see something real quick? Oh wait, that's not it. Hold on. I was going to show y'all something. Take a breather for a second, but I don't think I can find it. I was going to show you what my husband got me for Christmas. It's hilarious. I'll try to remember to show it because I know I thought I had it on. It fell in this. Okay. Anyways, let me find this and see. Oh, I got to do it from the bottom one up. Okay. Now, first of all, again, also, anybody that's been following Katie Joy for a long time and you have not seen this yet, how can I not make it bigger? Hold on. It's not letting me. I don't know why. Okay, I guess because it's a video. Anybody that's followed her for a long time, you're gonna recognize. What is she gonna look? I understand not everybody is a fashionista. I certainly am not, so I can't sit here and say shit. But I don't wear. When is she going to get new clothes, y'all? Like for real. So this is when she went live on the 19th. I went live on the 18th, and that's when all of this. So she knew the ruling. She knew it wasn't going in her favor. She gave it a couple of days. No, I think it was the 17th. The ruling came out. I went live on the 18th. So she went on the 19th, and she's drinking. And I'm not just saying that to be an asshole. She's drinking. Okay, she was drinking on this live stream. Listen to this, y'all.
This is basically them yelling at her, yelling at them for being like terrible to the witnesses and making, you know, rude statements.
Okay, so she's talking about some depositions that happened in the Blake Lively case. Now, I am completely clueless to the Blake Lively situation and what she's referencing, but it doesn't matter. I'm just clueless to it. But she's referencing something about that. So she's trying to, like, you can see how she's like segueing her way into this because she wants to bring up her own situation. She wants to bring up her own shit so bad, but she wasn't going to do a live just about that. I know, pro Charlotte Luke. I hoped you were going to be in here. Good to see you. Yeah, right. So you could tell she was going to segue her way into this because you know that she was going to have to talk about it, but she knows that she shouldn't, which is, y'all, for Katie Joy to stay quiet and to not go and start gloating and be like, I won half my lawsuit. Hello, says pro Charlotte Luke. I won half my lawsuit, right? She didn't do that this time. Instead, she went and she did this live stream and acting like it was all about Blake Lively. Okay, so here, let's listen. Y'all, this is so funny.
Statements, laughter, crosstalk, insulting comments. Nothing like what Ezra just did.
Can you hear that? Okay?
Like one example is I'd appreciate it if you'd ask a decent question. Listen, you guys, I'll tell you a secret. I was in a deposition once and the attorney's like, "Are you an alcoholic?" And I was like, "I don't know. Are you?"
Who believes that? Raise your hand if you believe that. That she had the nerve to be snarky to, you can hear that, right? All right. Who raise your hand if you think that Katie Joy actually said that to her. But wait, it gets worse. And listen closely to her words, y'all.
That's what happens in depositions. And she was all, "Objection. You will speak to me with respect, Miss Paulson." And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe you're a drunk too."
Maybe you are drunk too.
You are.
Oh my God. Maybe you're drunk too. Not maybe you're drunk. How about you're the drunk? First of all, I know she probably didn't say this, but you're drunk too. Yeah, she just called herself a drunk. She sure did. She had it.
Okay. So another one was objection as to form. That's not what the document says. Please stop this. This is crazy. I'm tired of you two. Objection as to form. We're asking her to assure 4 or 5 things because this witness does not know when the darn article was published. She was probably badgering a witness and asking the question over and over and over again, and they weren't getting the answer they want, so they just kept badgering. And this is what attorneys, I think, do when they don't have a good case. So they just like, it's really what the deposition is it's a way to just harass and punish.
Y'all. So that's what attorneys do is when they don't have a case, they take you to deposition. Is that what they depose you? Is that what she's saying? Yeah, Freudian slip, right, Luke? Is that what she's saying? I know, Leanne. It was nuts the way that she spoke about you. And there's another one where she was talking about some other attorneys recently too. She'll always do it. She just wanted to be an attorney. I just guess she couldn't. I don't know. Yeah, total projection. She is so dumb. Y'all, that's not the only one. So hold on. That's one time she spoke about it. I think that was like the first time she brought it up. But keep in mind, I mean, she literally cannot. What am I doing? What the heck is going on? Hold on. Okay, well, I guess I have to do it. What the hell happened? What's going on? That is not what needs to be happening right now. I was just able to show that one. Why can't I find the next one? Well, let me see here. What is going on? Oh, y'all. Hold on. I'm going to take a little break. Oh, wait, hold on. Take a little break for a second. Y'all. I hate it here. What is going on? It was working just fine. I was able to show you what I wanted to show you. And now I can't show you. It's doing something really weird. Okay. Hold on. First, let me go back this way and make sure I didn't pass it because this is letting me go. Okay. Dang, y'all. Okay, here's another one. Forgive me, I'm back. She is a professional at deflecting. So, Now, keep in mind too, I'm just showing you this because I was thinking about it. There was a filing that 7M made on Christmas Eve, right? Basically saying that Katie, and we'll get into that in a second, but I just wanted to show you all this stuff because she did go live. She tries to act like she's not going to. Happy New Year to everyone but KJ. Do we need to put that up on the screen? Hold on. I'm hoping 2026 is the year she gets her ass handed to. Wait, how long do we wait for this, Luke? 2022. I mean, she was served in 2020, April of 2022. I mean, this has just gone on and on. And everybody that's followed this, everybody in here is, for the most part, been around for a long time and knows her shenanigans. And so listen to this. I forget what this one's about, but let's listen.
In a deposition. I've been in a deposition and it sucks. And the transcript that you're seeing between attorneys, I wouldn't call this at all out of line, like at all. Like I've been in depositions where my attorneys are literally like screaming at the other side. I mean, that happens all the time. And the reason why it happens is because when you're in a deposition, there's no judge there. And so even if the question is completely out of line, you have to answer the question. And even if you've like put things on the table that you're not going to ask about, it doesn't matter. Like once you get into deposition, if they start asking you questions and you're under oath, you have to answer. And so all your attorney can do is say objection. And then they have to say on what grounds of the objection. And then what often happens, and what happened in one of my depositions, honestly, was the opposing counsel was being so rude to me. They were like, is it true that you're an alcoholic? Is it true that you abuse your child? Isn't your child abused? Don't you have Munchausen's by proxy? Are you an alcoholic? How much wine do you drink? Do you ever go live when you're drunk?
Yes.
Which, by the way, cheers.
See, what an asshole, y'all. But again, who believes that? Okay, number one, right? Are you an alcoholic? Do you abuse your child? I mean, well, okay, yeah, she did ask her if she drinks on a live stream. I think something like to those effects. I saw in one of the filings. Uncivil law. What about uncivil? Is he covering her at all? Y'all, I hope we do get a drunken live tonight, New Year's Eve. Let's see what else she says. Again, this was supposed to be about, she did this on purpose. She wanted to segue her own shit in here.
How do you know none of us have legal? I never said that anyone didn't have legal experience. I'm simply saying, like, if you don't have legal experience, if you've never been in a deposition, if you don't know what it's like, and you saw the transcripts today, I just want to say, like, I've been in more hostile ones than this, but I also know what it's like to be on the receiving end of someone like Ezra.
I mean, what? Like, you see what I'm saying, y'all? She plans
so, basically, they filed yet another extremely redacted document, which is...
I'm going to talk about... I'm going to go live and act like in my old ass sweater that I've been live in 1,000 times. The neck is so stretched out, sticking my big ass head through it, right? I'm going to go live again. And because really, I want to talk about how pissed off I am that this is going to trial and how I was mistreated in my own depositions. That's it. Oh, yes. Yes. Are you serious, Renelle? No way. Is there a baby? Oh, we love babies. Yeah, if you have legal experience, she'll post that you don't, and she don't have shit, right? Renelle, I hope everything goes smoothly. I hope if there is a baby in the future, if I read that correctly, that that all goes well. I most certainly do. Okay, there's one more. There was one more. I think the last one's the best one. Hold on. This was when she was ending it, I think. Let me see. Again, look, I mean, it's so obvious. If you know Katie Joy, You've been around. You know exactly what she's doing here. She's so mad that she can't talk about it, that this is how she talks about it. So this says a lot to me, because before she would just go live and talk about how she won, right? Yeah, we're now, could the baby be born tonight? One of my best friend, like I guess I'd call her like my middle school best friend, you know, because she's like the best friend I've had since middle school. I've got a best friend that I've had since like I was 5. Then I have my college best friends, right? But my middle school best friend, her birthday is January 2nd. And I've always, even when I lived with her, she was a roommate. I didn't address her birthday till the 3rd. For like, I don't even know how many years I thought that her birthday was the 2nd. I mean, I'm sorry, the 3rd. And then finally, like 10 years ago, I was like, oh wait, I realized it was the 3rd. And she was like, I kind of liked getting your messages on the 3rd, because my birthday was done on the 2nd, and it was nice to get on the 3rd. I'm like, geez Louise. But she said it was always hard having a birthday, you know, right at the new year after the holidays and everything, you know. But I just hope that whenever this baby's meant to be here, whatever God's will is, that he or she comes happily and healthy.
And I'm like, yeah, I got sued in April of 2022, and because the judge is already kind of side-eyeing you, because the plaintiff runs to the court and tells the judge all these terrible things about you.
Okay. Leanne, maybe you can speak to this. Did 7M run to the judge on every occasion to tell them how terrible Katie Joy is? Like, do you think they just knocked on, hey, judge, knock on the chamber door and be like, hey, Katie Joy is just terrible. Like, so every chance that 7M gets, or every chance any plaintiff gets, they go in, they taint the judge's opinion. Okay, this is what Katie Joy is saying. She's so pissed off that this judge did not rule in her favor that this is what she does.
Whether it's true or not. Some people love to launder defamation through the court systems. And I would say that Blake Lively is one of those candidates. I'm well familiar with this for myself. And I will say I've been on the receiving end of plaintiffs that have laundered some pretty defamatory things against me in court that were not true, but I couldn't sue for because we were in court, right? And when you're going through discovery, it can honestly feel like you're always on the losing end. I know what it's like to be Justin Baldoni. I am currently being sued, although I am 4 years into my lawsuit. So
she knows what it is to be Justin Baldoni, y'all. I mean, look, she's sitting here saying that this judge is going to listen to 7M and is going to make a ruling based on 7M. By Amber Stavig, like, well, I don't know what, sitting down and having coffee with the judge. Like, what?
So for those of you that are like, this is taking forever, I'm like, yeah, I got sued in April of 2022, and I don't even know if we're ever going to go to trial. And dude is now under federal investigation, and I don't know if we're ever going to go to trial.
Look, and there she is. Still, when she was filming this, when she was recording this, she still was like, I don't think we're going to go to trial. Dude is under federal investigation. The dude is under federal investigation. Time's running out, Katie Joy, and I know you're panicking. She really did not think this.
So that's where I'm at. And literally all the discovery is under attorney's eyes only. I have no idea what my defense even is. We got all the way through discovery and we didn't even have half the documents because they didn't give them to us.
They don't have.
We're currently fighting with them about spoliation and sanctions. And then they fought back and said, we're going to hold you in contempt. So I know what it's like to get retaliatory too. So we're trying to get the AEO designation lifted so I can actually plan a defense. And
look at that. Look at her eyes. The typical Katie Joy. I can't look in the screen. I know that's so tiny, y'all might not be able to see that, but she is looking up. That's just telltale. She's lying, right? Clearly, it's always someone else's fault. I know. She did same thing with you. She blamed you for getting a cease and desist from one of the parties in the Lively case, right? I mean, you see how she's doing this though? She needed to be able to bring it in. And so she probably thought most people weren't nobody that follows for the 7M situation was going to come, really look at this live for this. The Derricks are not under federal investigation. I mean, the Derricks, they're plaintiffs in this case. P.S. My secret wish was that KJ gets thrown not in jail, in prison where she belongs. You know, and then you'll have these people go, this is a civil case. What do you mean she's going to be thrown in prison? And then to all of us will answer, we're talking about everything else she does, not just a civil case, things that people feel that she's done that might be illegal. And I'm not even going to get into that because I can't, you know, I'm not going to state anything like as a fact that I can't say. I have my thoughts and I have my beliefs and I have my opinions, right? She doesn't need, right, Leanne? I mean, what, people just listen to this shit like it's real? She doesn't need attorney's eyes only lifted to plan a defense. Her lawyer can see the docs and plan her defense, which is her job. And there's not an argument there. And there's no way that it's going to be heard that way.
We're also asking for sanctions because we believe they've deleted a lot of evidence and withheld discovery from us, which made it very difficult for us to put forward a summary judgment. And we also didn't have all the discovery available for depositions. So there's all these fights about right now trying to get either the case thrown out due to being prejudiced by not having the discovery or to reopen discovery, to which they then filed a retaliatory motion against me and say that I am in contempt of court. So I know what it's like, you guys. I know how hard this is. It's not fun. And I would venture to say that my case is very reminiscent to what Justin is going through. Okay.
So Leanne, specifically, so Leanne covers the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case very closely. And I don't really go on Twitter much anymore. But when I did, I would see where she would post whatever was filed and would break it all down for everybody. So Leanne, with your expertise opinion, even though Katie Joy says that you don't deserve any label of expertise because you only practice in the UK, you have no idea what American law is about. You have zero idea, right? Do you think that her case is reminiscent of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's case? Asking for everyone. That's a good question, too. She files motions, and that's okay, but they file a motion, and it's retaliation. Exactly. She's always said that, Leanne. Always. And that whatever 7M files is retaliation, right? And did you hear earlier, just a bit ago, when she did this live stream, she said that I got distracted again. Hold on. Hang on one second. I'm going to mute for a second. Okay. And of course, I'm back. Where was I? Sorry. Clout chasing off the celebrity lawsuit. I mean, that's what it is. It's just, y'all, it's so frustrating. That is true too. Katie takes pages from everyone's playbook. That's fact, right?
Okay.
I think she ended it there.
So judges
should
be smarter, but plaintiffs are always given the benefit of the doubt during discovery. Always.
Since when are the plaintiffs always given the benefit of the doubt in discovery? Since when is that? Since when has that ever happened? Like, so the judge is just going to believe the plaintiffs. That's just how it goes. That's just how it is. I mean, what? So she's basically saying, so what she's trying to say here, and I know y'all get the gist, y'all followed her long enough, you know. What she's doing is she's pissed off that the judge did not rule in her favor. She thought she had one Hail Mary left, right? That the judge was going to look back at her ruling for the summary judgment and go, oh, you know, and Katie Joy's motion to reconsider and go, you know what, Katie Joy, you are so right. I was wrong about everything. And that's not what happened. In fact, what happened was came back and it was almost, it's going to help 7M. It's just kind of like, let me just shine up this platter for you to hand over to the jury, right? And Katie Joy clearly is pissed about it. And this is how she's lashing out because she can't talk about it.
Always. You could be the most innocent defendant ever.
Oh, like you?
And a judge could still possibly side-eye you and think you are the devil. And I am convinced that my judge thinks I'm the devil. I am convinced that Judge Lyman thinks that Justin Baldoni is the devil. Being the defendant really sucks. Even if you know,
She's choking
even
on
if
her
you
own
know,
shit, y'all.
right, that you can win and that it's.
Did you see her choke on her own bullshit right there? I mean, y'all, this is just and so now she's going live again on TikTok, and Renelle has been able to capture those and put them on her channel. So Renelle, if you're still in here, please feel free to drop your link to your channel if anybody else has saved it and wants to drop it. Again, if you want to see what Katie has done on TikTok lately, it's all on Renelle's channel. I haven't watched any of it really. I know she went live a couple nights ago. Apparently she was pretty intoxicated. We can always tell when she is. That could just be our opinion. Maybe she wasn't. You can make your own determination whether or not you think she was drunk or not. Okay? That's up to you. I'm not going to make your mind up for you. And then she was on Perez Hilton's. She was in his box on TikTok. And I don't really know what was said there. And then apparently she was live again last night. I might have all this backwards or jumbled or whatever. Nonetheless, you can find it on Renelle Smith's channel. And I don't know. Apparently she said last night that Robert Shin, there was something she said. Someone told me what Robert Shin said. Hang on. What Robert Shin said. What Katie Joyce said about Robert Shin. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me. She said that he is being investigated specifically for sex trafficking, and she said it is specified by the complaint by the USPIS. So here she is once again, 10 toes down, stating as a fact. Now I haven't watched a lot. This is just what I heard, so I could be wrong that she didn't state it as a fact. But if you know Katie Joy, I'm going to assume that she stated it as a fact that he is 100% being investigated for sex trafficking. I have my opinions on that. I don't think that 7M's attorney would be defending it so strongly in that particular area if that's what he was actually being investigated for. She's saying that the United States Postal Inspection Service is the one that is investigating that on him. So I think she didn't say anything else after that. Let me see.
You've done nothing wrong. So when it comes to judges, they're about being judicious in their process. They don't like burdens on the court. Some judges, like my judge currently, I don't want to disparage her, but she doesn't seem super motivated, by the way, to get things done. She is literally, we filed our motion for summary judgment, I think in December of last year. We just got our motion for reconsideration ruling 2 days ago. So it took a whole year just to get through motion for summary judgment. Seriously.
And it did. But there were a lot of delays, and some of the delays were due to the incompetence on her side. And that's just true. And maybe, we'll say, there was some on the 7Ms. But the whole situation going into summary judgment, there was a ruling. And then there was in June, on June 23rd was the ruling. But the reason why it took so long to get there, and then after there, was because there were issues with filings that Katie Joy filed. I don't want to disparage the judge, and then she continues. I know, and then she proceeds to disparage the judge. Right. All right, we're going to wind down here in a bit. I think Charlotte's going to be live in a little bit, but I'll go over a few minutes.
A whole year. Discovery's been closed for like 2. I don't know why it takes so long. Minnesota is so backed up in the court system. And some judges, I think, just aren't keen on certain cases, so they just don't care. I mean, I think criminal cases always take priority. There are always higher priority civil cases. My case has out-of-state defendants that are currently under investigation for sex trafficking. And I don't know what the judge is thinking or what, but I mean, apparently talking about his federal investigation could be defamation, even though I'm reading, court records. So Judge Lyman is doing what judges do.
She is so pissed off, y'all. She is so pissed off, and I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. She was so pissed off at those rulings, and that is her only way of being able to say it. Oh, I know, man. Think about this. I was thinking about this earlier. She's already probably, let's just call it $250,000 in. She admitted over the summer that she was over 200,000 in. So let's call it 250, right? Yeah, right, Renelle? Renelle says, I love the way she tries to come across as unbothered. She is so stressed. You can see it in her face. I'm sorry, I just can't. And Leanne, who has the right to make this statement, says the FBI will make slightest difference to her case. Okay? Robert Shin, and I have to keep reminding people, has not been arrested. He has not been charged with any of these things. He has not been indicted. Right? There's like Katie kept saying he's going to be indicted. No, that never happened. He has not been charged. He's not in prison, y'all. And if he is, he's going to go to some white collar prison probably. I don't see the sex trafficking. They raided all of his properties. If he had a ring going on, like she states, I'm pretty sure they would have uncovered that. Okay. They've been investigating him for a while. Clearly, this is what they do. Anyways, but she's still stating it as fact. Now, the only other thing, let me see what else I had for y'all. There is the document that 7M filed on Christmas Eve. Let me just show that real quick so you guys can get an idea of what that said, if you haven't seen it. It's nothing groundbreaking. We're not losing anything. We're not missing anything here, because keep in mind, the hearing was today. All of this stuff that we're talking about right now that I've showed was heard at the hearing this morning. We don't know, we know it was very quick, but that's not that unusual for this. And they already put on the books. Well, I'll do that next. I'll end with that. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't want it. Hold on. That's not what I want to do yet. They've already put on the books the hearing for February 9th. This is what was filed on Christmas Eve. But Katie Joy is not a Christian. Even though they celebrate Christmas in their own way, whatever. Still a punch. If Katie goes live tonight, I bet she will cry and say that something was taken from her son. I don't. You know what, Jill? I think typically she would have. If she hasn't done that yet, Yule. That's right. She celebrates Yule. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. If she hasn't done it yet, I think there's either her attorneys told her, you need to zip it. Like, you're really pushing it here. But again, I don't think she thought this was going to go to trial. I just don't think she ever thought it would go to trial. She didn't. So 7M then files on Christmas Eve their reply memorandum of law in support of their motion for contempt. And just saying that Katie Joy failed to respond to hop factors. They list the hop factors. I'm not going to go through this because I'm going on over a little too long. They list the hop factors. And they go on to explain why Katie Joy did not respond properly, and that they need to grant their motion for sanctions. So there's just a lot. I'm just not even going to read parts of it because that'll just kind of get confusing. But let me see. Hold on. So basically, when it comes down to it, right? And this is where Amber Stavik says, Katie is claiming that, the plaintiff's motion is untimely, but do not cite a single law to support this contention. Defendants are claiming discovery is closed, which is in direct contradiction to their statement that discovery is ongoing. Therefore, they don't have to comply with the same. So not only maybe like legally could they still file a motion, for sanctions. She's saying, look, you contradicted yourself by saying that discovery is closed, but then in the next statement, basically you're saying that discovery is ongoing. Therefore, they don't have to comply with the same. So, and again, they have not cited any laws which state that 7M may not make a motion for contempt. And they say that their memorandum of law in support of their contempt properly addresses and provides support for all 8 hot factors, meeting the necessary burden for the court to find defendants in contempt. Now, they might have a very strong argument here. Legally, this could be something that the judge goes, you know what? Wow, well, whatever. Who knows, right? We won't know until there's a ruling. And we don't know when that will be. This judge is moving right on along. I think that this judge is going to make a ruling. At some point. And then they have the pre-hearing conference, the pretrial conference. And so it's moving, y'all. It's moving. And it's very ironic to me, the timing of it all, right? Like here they had this hearing on the last day of the year. And Katie is saying that, Robert Shin is going to be indicted by January. And we're not seeing much. Now, could he have been? Did he turn himself in so, it wouldn't be all over the airwaves, on December 31st? I mean, I guess there's a possibility. I don't know, right? But she never thought it would get this far. That's the key. It is going to trial. I'm surprised that they made the pre-trial hearing so quickly because just in the history of this case, everything has been so drawn out. And this judge is boom, boom, boom now. I don't think there's going to be any tolerance for any fuck shit of Katie's going to try to pull to try to carry this on. And so, y'all, it's 4:05. Charlotte on the web should be live. I don't know if she is. Let me check YouTube. If anybody knows that she is, let me know. Yeah, she is. So I don't want to cut into her time. I've been on here 2 hours. My husband's home. He's been staying out of my hair, which is very sweet of him. So December 31st, y'all, this is what we're going into the new year with. I've got a lot of other things I want to share regarding this. And I'll try to get that together. Will the trial be in 2026? I'm hoping, Renelle. I'm hoping. I guess it depends on the court's schedule, like what their court, what it looks like. I don't know if they've agreed on. Thank you, Jen P. There's Charlotte's link to her channel. She's live right now. It depends on. I also don't know what they've agreed upon as far as the time, because originally in the very first scheduling order, they made like a 3-day trial, and 7M was like, oh hell no. So I know that they requested. Thank you, Pro Charlotte Luke. We're going to end with that for sure. So I don't know. I'm hoping. Yes. Leanne says yes, likely first half of 2026. You think that soon, huh, Leanne? You're welcome, where miracles fly. Happy New Year's to all of you. Please, New Year's Eve, be safe. Stay inside if you can. I'll be asleep by 8:30. Where we live, we're up on a hill, and we're very fortunate. I can see like 3 major cities. I can see their fireworks display if it's a clear night. So y'all pray that we have a clear night. Of course, I might be asleep by then, but it's really cool. We can see like the smaller cities and we can see the major cities. I can go on one side of the house and I can see huge fireworks displays. I can go on the other side and see huge. You can hear all the finales. It's actually really cool. But please be safe out there. You know how, with dogs, they hate all the sounds. So keep them inside. Ours stay inside during this. Ours get very nervous. Ours would never have been good hunting dogs because as soon as they see a rifle or hear a gunshot, they freak. And so same with fireworks. It's all the same. It's all the same to them. So just be safe out there. Happy New Year to everybody. For my new member today, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for my existing members, and all my super chats are so greatly appreciated. Tomorrow is the first day of 2026. So I will catch you good people in 2026. If you're heading over to Charlotte's, I'll see you in chat there. If not, I'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy New Year's, guys. The end of 2025. Let's see what 2026 brings. Thanks, everybody.